Where do we start with that one? This don't even have nothing in it. Why is this here? Why is there an empty glass here? Why are Leeds so terrible in the cup? These are all questions that have to be answered. Why? It beggars belief, really, how we can turn up year in, year out, and it's the same old dross every single time. We field a weakened squad for some reason, so weak, weaker than an anorexic bodybuilder. Honestly, such a lack of substance that a deflated volleyball would actually look like a flipping bowling ball in comparison to what I saw today. Wolves! Come on, man. Come on. They're there for the taking. They are there for the taking. Wolves were weak. They were poor. They had nothing in the middle. I know I call us laxative FC. I know I said we've got skid mark defending, but Wolves today had diarrhea defending because they were getting absolutely crushed through. Absolutely slammed through the middle with no resistance. It was like Moses parting the Red Sea every time we had the ball. But yet we had no quality, no drive to pick them out, to pick the passes, to dismantle them, to take them apart. No, the first few minutes of the game we did. The first few minutes of the game, it was like a flipping pinball arcade game in their box. I don't know how we didn't manage to put the ball in the back of the net. We had about 4 corners in quick succession. Their keeper made about 3 flipping last-ditch saves off the line. We missed about 50 headers just going inches over someone's head. I don't know what the hell was going on there. But then ever since then, I mean, Wolves had a couple of chances. Maybe they caught us out a couple of times. But some of those players today, you need to scratch your head and you need to think, are these guys going to get themselves into Leeds' squad in the future? Are they the people to drive us forward? I'm looking at people like Joseph. I'm looking at people like Gelhard. I'm looking at people like, even you could argue Mateus Klitsch. I don't think he was one of our worst performers. I'm looking at people like Sonny Perkins. Are these the people to drive us forward? I hear a lot of clamoring around, a lot of people saying that Rodrigo isn't good enough. I want to slate him every single opportunity that he gets and every single mistake that he makes. But let me tell you something. Do you think we would have done any worse today with Rodrigo in that starting 11 over a Joseph or a Perkins or a Gelhard today? I think, you know, they had a big opportunity and they showed that they lack a bit of cutting edge to make it in the men's game at this current moment in time. I think there's still time for them to develop. Of course there is. They need game time. They need confidence. I think Joseph especially, the main thing I saw him lacking was confidence, really. His decision making in the final third, it just took a little bit too long at times. He was a little bit lost, a little bit confused at times. But that will come. And I think it is only a matter of time before it does. But he missed some big chances today, man. There was one time where JB played a beautiful chef's kiss of a through ball, and he's going in there like swimwear. All he has to do, carry on his run, finish with the left foot, and for some reason he cuts it all the way back to the defender. And that was the story of the day, really. I saw Jack Harrison do that about 10-20 times. All he had to do was carry on his run, drive down the line, and he kept getting drawn into defenders. You see, what you want as an attack, you want a Lionel Messi aspect, you know. You want double positive neurons, double negative neurons. You want to be repelled away from the defender. What we had was a positive negative. He was getting drawn in like a magnetic field, just suctioning him in every single time. It was like he was a bit horny and the other guy was wearing some Dior Sauvage or some Paco Rabanne 1 million from Jaime. I don't know what the hell kind of cologne he had on, but it was drawing him over to him every single time. He loved that scent. He was getting drawn into the defender, and it just we kept running into no man's land in there. We just lacked that bit of quality to take them apart. And I think a lot of the onus on that does have to lie on Jesse Marsch. I think it does. The squad selection, I called for changes. A lot of you guys called for changes. It's only smart to make changes, but not that many. And if you are going to make that many, put some quality players on the bench. Yeah, put some quality players on the bench. Why was a Rodrigo not on the bench just to save us in the last 20 minutes? Why was a Brendan Aronson not sitting on the bench to save us in the last 20 minutes? Why was the only quality player we had there Willy Gnonto? Why did Willy Gnonto not get an opportunity until the final 20 minutes? Why was he not brought on earlier to change things around? Why were we relying on someone like Joseph and Perkins and Gelhard, players that haven't played a lot of first team football, and relying solely on them? Yeah, Greenwood came on. I don't think he did too much when he did. I guess you could argue he was one of the other more experienced players we potentially had to bring in. But to not have at least a Sinistera on the bench there as well, I think that was a a short-sighted decision, potentially. And I think we're going to potentially rue this on Saturday. It depends on what happens on the weekend. If we go and beat Tottenham, we put on an absolute clinic. And these players that didn't play feature very well. I'm talking Disastrous. I'm talking Gnonto starting. I'm talking Aronson. And we go and absolutely take him to the cleaners. Then you know what? He'll be vindicated in his decisions. But if we don't get a result, there's going to be serious question marks asked now, because that has ruined our momentum. We had some good momentum going there. We had just beaten Liverpool. A great turnaround performance against Bournemouth. We had some momentum going. Everything was looking good. And then we go ahead and just completely throw it away with just stupid kamikaze defending again, skid mark defending, and just allowing them to get a stupid, needless goal. It was a beautiful finish in the end, but when you don't take your chances and you allow Wolves into the game like that, then you're always going to rue your mistakes. Speaking of that lineup and the changes, by the way, I think there was one thing that I do want to touch on. Jack Harrison, okay? Not only do I think he was poor today, not jumping on top of him, because at the beginning of the season, he was one of our better players. I think he has been slightly, his performances have dropped slightly recently as well. And I think what you could be looking at here is forget my opinion, forget your opinion. Not forget it, I do want to hear it, of course. But forget what we think. It is more important than what Jesse Marsch thinks. And I think Jesse Marsch might be done with Jack Harrison in terms of him being in the first team. I don't think he will start against Tottenham. I think it is very telling that he was the one experienced player that we brought in. It wasn't a Sinisterra. It wasn't a Brendan Aronson. It wasn't even a Gnonto that started. It was Jack Harrison that started the game. And I think we did have to have one slightly more experienced player, but I think that proves that he is the one that is not going to be starting against Tottenham. I think that proves that. I think that proves that he's lost a bit of faith in Jack Harrison. Maybe he thinks Jack Harrison's head's been turned. Maybe something's gone on behind the scenes. Or maybe he just has more faith in someone like Somerville to get us a result against Tottenham. Who knows? But I do think that is very telling, and I'm intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about that. What do you think about Jack Harrison? Do you think his days in the starting 11 are numbered? I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section down below. However, someone whose days are not numbered and someone whose days are only getting better in terms of the starting 11. And for me, my man of the match, most impressive performance all round today, I'd have to give it to Darko JB. I thought he was thoroughly impressive. If you ask me, I thought he was thoroughly impressive. You could argue there was times defensively where he left gaps and his positional awareness wasn't 100% spot on. But I think that's because he was playing against next to Mateus Klitsch. If he was playing next to Tyler Adams at a holding 2, I think you'd see that he would have a lot more cover back there and things would look slightly different. And I think on the ball, his positional awareness was very good. He was driving at defenders well. He has this almost Moussa Dembele effect where it's so hard to get the ball off him, and he uses physicality to shield the ball very, very well. His distribution, I thought, was very good. He sprayed some beautiful through balls there, man. He's got great range of passing. I think Darko JB is a serious baller. And I would actually potentially throw him in next to Adams. You know, not that I want to get rid of Rocker, but, you know, or even bring him on at halftime, JB. But I would like to see him get some minutes against Tottenham. And I wouldn't necessarily be against pairing him with Adams. But that would be my standout player of the day. I don't think Gnonto had enough time to shine. I don't think he did amazingly well when he came on, but, you know, I thought he still offered some sort of impact. But had we had him on earlier, had we had a Somerville on, someone that could drive at Wolves, drive at them, take a man on, get us into dangerous areas, create a little bit of magic, then I think we would have been a lot more successful today. And it's gutting that we've thrown this cup run away. But hey ho, that's Leeds, and that is football for you. But let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comment section down below. And we'll see you very, very soon. Tottenham Hotspur coming up on the weekend. Massive game. England lineup coming out tomorrow. So much going on in the world of football. And I will see you very, very soon. And we will be here for all of it. But for now, guys, I will see you. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.